Our manifesto is on the problem with higher education, manifesto on higher education system. It is with great frustration that we bring forth to you the problem with higher education. Undergraduates of today are faced with many obstacles upon their shoulders in an attempt to obtain a higher education. Regulations have made it so that the endeavor of accomplishing the aforementioned task has proven to alienate undergraduates rather than benefit and aid them in their search for a higher knowledge, which is of utmost importance in this day and age. Due to this, it is with outrage that we bring forth to you these attacks on the corrupt system of higher education.
To abolish irrelevant courses which would not be useful for the future career of the undergraduate, such as electives, first-year general education classes, and other classes that are far-fetched from the field of study. This would not only decrease time spent working towards the degree, but it would drastically decrease the financial cost.
The elimination of the attendance policy, undergraduates pay tuition and monetary fees for their education and should have the capability to make their choice of attending their classes. This being said, attendance should not be a matter of importance and should not be a factor that contributes to the student's grade and success in the classroom.
The complete destruction or reduction of tuition. Paying for higher education that contributes to the betterment of society should be a government expenditure, given that such investment in rising citizens would ultimately lead to a stronger, highly educated nation. The elimination of tuition would make a higher education available to society as a whole, tearing down the unavailability of a higher education due to financial inequalities. Students that desire a higher education but do not have the financial capability to pay for an education would now be able to attain higher education and secure a better future.
School supplies such as textbooks and test sheets should be provided by the higher education institution. Most of the undergraduates do not have good financial means while attending school. It would be one less financial burden for them. That way they can have full focus on their studies. Textbooks and other school supplies have progressively become more expensive with time. Many textbooks are slightly revised every semester and call for the constant purchase of the new editions. Constantly purchasing these very expensive textbooks is absolutely insane as well as unnecessary to keep updating them every single semester.
Parking for undergraduates who use their automobiles to commute to their classes should have absolutely free parking available to them. Many students have consecutive classes during a single academic day, giving them very short periods of time in between classes for them to walk back to their cars and renew their parking pass. This can put their timely arrival to class in jeopardy and may even result in frustration, leading some students to skip class in order to avoid parking troubles. These frequent payment can also accumulate over time, placing yet another financial burden on the student.
To abolish all old and traditional teaching methods, students should be inspired by the professors and be self-motivated to attend class lectures. Sociologists and psychologists are invited to come into our institutions in order to revise their curriculum and develop stronger teaching techniques that instill inspiration into the minds and hearts of undergraduates everywhere.
The elimination of unpaid internships. Internships are now becoming a requirement for graduation in many undergraduate programs. However, because undergraduates are students and often full-time students, the majority of their time is spent attending school. Since these internships are very time-consuming, it makes it difficult for students to withhold a paying job on the side. Therefore, the concept of unpaid labor becomes a disadvantage for the undergraduate, making it impossible for them to sustain themselves financially. Undergraduates should be paid for their time and labor just as any other employees. Many companies are taking advantage of this high demand, reaping the benefits of unpaid labor.
Oh, and the linkage to Futurism, Hernandez and the Futurists, they wanted to destroy academies, but we don't want to destroy academies, but we in a way want to destroy the fundamentality of academies and destroy the traditional regulations that are in